In New York City, the hours between last call and first light are a time of increased ambiguity. In other words, shit can get weird. The bars are winding down, the subways have been cleaned, the pigeons are definitely up to no good. Streets that have been bustling all day are now, well, they're still bustling, with college partiers and cabbies on night shift, waiting to drive their asses home. And your bodega guy and his cat. This is the city that never sleeps, remember? That's New York's whole thing. You might not be able to find a fancy steak dinner at this hour, but I promise you can find something even better.
So good. So good.
Do you see that? Under the 7 train in Jackson Heights? That's a truck serving tacos so good, you might just shed a little tear. Oh, she cute.
That's the birria. This is exactly how they sell it in Tijuana. Classic, onions, cilantro, and sauce, nothing else. The more important about how you make the birria, I can give you the recipe, but it's the love you put in there.
So Jose here has almost 20 years of experience cooking in the best restaurants in New York City. He was at Lupa and Del Posto, but now he's running things out of his own truck with his brother Jesus. This Tijuana-style birria is made by dipping tortillas in beef fat, throwing them on the griddle, and stuffing them with rich, chili-laced beef stew. Ugh. Yeah, I could eat all of that.
When I come back to New York, I still have these tacos in my mind, and the only way to eat them again is if I make them myself. And I start making for my co-workers, and they like it. They tell me, why you don't sell these tacos? You go make it with money. That's how they convinced me to start on this. And we are here, and I'm so glad about this neighborhood. They give me a very good welcome. The impression the customers do me when they start eating my tacos, I get so many feelings inside, like, oh, this is good.
Hola, ¿qué tal?
¿Qué tal?
Bueno, listo de los tacos. Un consomé chico.
In Tijuana, birria is usually eaten with consommé, a red cilantro-y broth that turns a good taco into a great one. If you know what's up, you dip those bad boys in consommé between each bite. That's right, just like that. Dr. Steven here, he knows what's up. Some might even call him an expert on the subject of tacos.
Different corporations in history have removed Mexican people further and further, and that removes all the history of the people that brought the food in the first place. And that's called decontextualization.
Yeah, this guy teaches a class on taco literacy. But you don't need a degree to enjoy these tacos, although it might give you a deeper appreciation.
The traditional birria is it comes from mining communities in Jalisco. It's a very hearty stew, a working class kind of food. As I lift it up, you can see the beef just kind of falling apart to the spoon. Beautiful, beautiful. I'm having a quasi-religious experience, excuse me. Wow. Oh, man. Más tacos. Oh.
Bueno.
Oh, yeah. Siempre. Siempre. The thing about this is that there's a lot of people can learn about Mexican people through the food. For people to understand us, you have to understand their food, you have to understand their culture. The best way to measure it is on the happy faces of the folks who try it.
Oh my God. The first day they opened, I was here with them, and I cried. because I have to go all the way back to TJ to have this beautiful taco. We don't have in New York. I feel love into these tacos. I would say that it's the same as you will get it in Tijuana.
Look, late night eating can get, well, emotional. If you ever find yourself crying on the streets at 2 a.m., I hope it's over the pure beauty of a taco made with love.
I feel so happy when I hear this. I mean, it's like something like it's better than the money we make over here. So I'm happy.
In the blurry hours after 2 a.m., as clubgoers and bar hoppers begin to make their way home, cab drivers have to deal with a lot. Oh, and Lord knows they need a break. Luckily, they have a spot where the vibes are good, the chai is hot, and the Minton, oh, it's bad. This is the only after-hours badminton club in New York City, where a lot of taxi drivers come during the slow hours to get some exercise and hang out. You don't have to be a cab driver to play here. But if you are, you'll probably see a lot of your homies.
Joe, Taif, so what do? Like, do taxi, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And Shiab?
Taxi.
Taxi, okay. He's drive, I think, taxi as well? They do Uber. He drive a cab. And what about you?
Student.
Student, okay. But you do have a like job, like taxi, right?
No, I don't have a job.
Not a job, okay. So, yeah, 95% people are cab driver.
Meet Jack, the night manager at the badminton club. He's also a taxi driver. Jack loves his job. He loves the atmosphere. He loves the nighttime.
I kind of a late night fan, and I do late night work and do late night activities.
He comes here to get exercise, to take a break from the slow taxi shifts, and to admire his giant racket and giant shoe. But perhaps most importantly, he comes here to chill with his friends.
I invite all of my friends here to come join with me, cheers with me, love each other, and have some chai, tea together. We are American Bengali. Idare bole coffee house adda. That's the quality time. But bala asen ni apnara?
Alhamdulillah, bahut bala ache.
Bread nite paren? Share kore khamo.
It's very traditional Bangladeshi food. You dip the bread in a tea and you drink it. Cha, roti.
Everyone's got their own chai recipe, but here's the deal at Boishaki, a no-frills Bangladeshi joint in Astoria, Queens. They mix red label Indian tea with hot, steamy milk and then spike it with a healthy dose of sugar. And to balance out the creamy sweetness, you need a fresh lentil puri. I want to cuddle up with that and go night-night.
আরেকটা ছিড়ি দাও কারণ আসলে মজা আছে গায়া
খুব ঠান্ডা আজকে দেখছেন
Yeah, no, it's
খুব
cool.
ভালো হয়েছে থ্যাংক ইউ ভাইয়া
Nice.
তুমি চা নিয়ে
Thank you.
আসছো
Thank you for the food. আগামী সপ্তাহ চাটা কে আনবে?
আগামী সপ্তাহে রাসেল মনে হয়
At 3:30, some places in New York are still what you might call a Category 5 shit show. There's definitely some fist pumping happening. $30 drinks are getting spelled. Hey, watch it. But some people prefer nightlife in a more intimate setting. Karaoke performed at this level is a feat of athleticism. Sure, you could refuel with a sad dollar slice of pizza, but in Koreatown, even this late, you don't have to settle for sad.
You guys ready to eat now? Let's do it. Let's go. Let's ready. Let's this way, guys. Come on in. Thanks for waiting. Table 51. 서울 먹습니다. 안녕하세요. 백지입니다.
We got brisket. We also have ribeyes. We also have boneless short ribs. And we got pork belly sliced or big, thick slabs. We also have marinated pork collar. And last but not least, we have beef tongue.
This guy, Mike, is the executive chef at Beth Jung, a very special barbecue spot here in K-Town.
You know, there's always pockets in Manhattan where it's always busy. And we have karaoke bars and rooms that stay open till 4 or 5 in the morning, too. And the people that leave those places, they need a place to go eat. They don't want diner food. A Korean place like us, you know, has barbecue at that hour. Who wouldn't want barbecue?
What do you guys want to drink? You want soju?
Let's do soju.
Lynn really drunk.
They're gonna be super offended. I don't think I've ever seen you drink this much.
We get a lot of good characters over here.
Charlie here runs this place. Sometimes it feels more like a meat-themed nightclub than a restaurant.
We're gonna cook everything, we're gonna cut everything. All you gotta do is eat. All right? Enjoy. Good night, guys.
Since Paekjin won't kick you out until almost sunrise, it's frequented by karaoke legends, random drunk people, stand-up comics, and
We're gonna drink until 7 a.m.
Youngmi, who right now is all of the above.
Yeah, like Korean people are like really hard on women and their bodies, and so Irene is very large to them. And I was in Korea like a few months ago, and I walked into a Korean restaurant, and the woman working there was like, "We're gonna need more beef." But then I ate a bunch of beef.
Aside from stand-up, Youngmi hosts a podcast with Brian here called Feeling Asian, where they discuss everything from Korean moms to Korean food. And they know a thing or two about good Korean barbecue.
Guys, we have some brisket here and then the short ribs right over here.
It's brisket. It's called chadolbegi in Korean. So I think of it as like an appetizer because it just cooks so quickly.
Like when I lived in Korea, we would have dinner and then we would go out to a club. And then at like 3 or 4, we'd have a full-blown other meal,
Seriously?
which is what we're doing now.
Pretty much we spend half the day slicing, 8 a.m. We finish at 4 p.m. just so we can have one night's worth of meat for service. 96 pounds of just this cut.
I think the difference that we wanted to bring here was a complete barbecue experience. Not just the barbecue, but the banchan.
This is banchan. And so is this. Technically, banchan means side dishes, but they're more than that. They're snacks. They're condiments. They give a meal flavor, texture. Basically, they're a counterpart to all that sizzling meat.
Okay, so all this stuff is free, right?
Yeah. Honestly, that's like the mark of a bad Korean restaurant is if they charge you for any of the banchan, or if they charge for rice.
Oh, it looks good.
Yeah, so this is steamed egg. That's just cooking. Korean food, I think, is like a great drunk food because it's like meant to be very messy. There's a lot of spoons touching, a lot of shame. It's like the messy sex of food.
Also, here's the lunchbox.
The lunchbox dish is a throwback to the old school, literally. Kids would bring these metal boxes to school and reheat them over the radiator. It's quintessential comfort food. Oh, okay, get it, server. Hey, I see you. Go ahead. Okay.
It's like from my parents' era Korea. Even though I never grew up with it, it's so nostalgic to look at it.
That looks good, dude.
Yo, this looks like what is in my lunchbox after I ran with my backpack.
How the hell are these people out here at this late? And they're still sitting there through a meal. The party doesn't stop for them. It's almost as if we're in Korea. Because out there, it's just non-stop partying, too.
The bar's not closed?
In Korea, never.
It's definitely not some place you would bring your girlfriend to have a quiet dinner. You have to be in the mood to drink. It's going to be a little boisterous for some people. Know that you're going to be in for a party, but it's definitely fun.
This place is the spot. This place has the best service, the best quality of meat, and they're totally okay with us being chaotic legends right now.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm afraid I'm gonna get so drunk I'm gonna cry on Hulu.
Can you not?
Hell's Kitchen, as the name suggests, wasn't always the kind of place you'd want to be at 4 a.m.
Now those are some flat tires.
All right, children.
Whoa!
Now it's, well, obviously fabulous. And anyone ignoring this neighborhood because of its name is missing out on some of the best drag in New York, a beloved center of the city's LGBTQ+ community.
Jan, you and I have the sensible shoes.
Yeah.
And a late night party at the kind of place where you won't get a noise complaint from the manager. A place like Empanada Mama.
How are you? Hi. You all look fantastic tonight.
Thank you.
Any questions about the menu I can help you with? Oh no, we know this inside and out, right?
Open 24/7, Empanada Mama, one of the city's few Colombian-focused restaurants, serves more than 40 types of hot, flaky pastries filled with seafood, buffalo chicken, mac and cheese. Basically, if you can eat it, Mama can stuff it in an empanada.
Okay, I'm gonna have the caramel and cheese, and I'm also gonna have the spinach and cheese. Oh my gosh. And cheese.
Please welcome Ms. Cracker, writer, performer, queen of our hearts, and the stage.
Oh, if you're a drag queen, you gotta live out of your suitcase. That's just the way it is. I have Christmas lights. I have Hanukkah candles. And like now I'm gonna dig around here and figure out what on earth I'm gonna wear. I think I'm gonna start with these titties that my sister made for me. Ooh, that's the good one. Well, I mean, we came here to die. Like, let's do it in style. Okay, my titties are a little bit bigger than they were back then, but let's see what happens. All right. Here she is. She's ready. No, she's a woman. She's ready to go. Therapy is known for its late night shows. It is a late night hotspot. If you have a show at Therapy, you're living your drag life. When we are working a late night like this, it's just nightlife people. It's just crazy people.
Yeah.
And then when you're out in the world after, don't you feel like Cinderella coming home from the ball, just like full rags again?
The sun comes up, my face is halfway off, and the people who are going to their job at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning are looking at me like, wow, they must have had a great night. I was like, nope, just a normal night at work. I want to bring to the stage our very special guest tonight, okay? You know her from New York City. You know her from RuPaul's Drag Race. Everybody, please make some noise for the one, the only, Ms. Cracker! Yes, keep it coming. Make some more noise. I know you can be louder than that! This is so amazing. Therapy is packed like my asshole on a Friday night. Just... Hell's Kitchen is one of the only places in New York you can do a late night show and then find something to eat right next door. And that is why I love performing there. Do you come here all the time after your gigs? I feel like I'm here at least once a week.
You'll be here and you'll look around and you'll be like, oh, there's Pixie, there's Tina. It's like every other drag queen in the city is like constantly, they're just like swarming here.
It's the unofficial after party of all the shows.
Absolutely.
Oh, goodness. Hi, ladies. There you are. Of course.
It's really cool to see everyone just meshed together here. That's the thing I love about here is just the amazing customers that come in here. It's just like a family.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Of course.
Good to see you.
You as well.
You always make me the best drinks. I appreciate it. Thanks for always showing love.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, thank you for continuing to join us. Yeah, of course. I love your outfit.
Empanadas are a staple in Latinx communities across the globe, made in all different sizes with all different fillings.
See, all of these empanadas, we identify them with the holes in them. So each empanada's got a different mark. It's like 40 of them. Imagine how long it takes to train someone. It's like their head is like blown up at the end of a Friday night shift once they've gone through all of that.
Is that the caramel cheese?
Yeah, I thought it would be too sweet, but it's just right.
Yeah.
I enjoy my favorites.
Yeah, you find your favorite 5 and then you try the Viagra once because you're like, what is that?
A Viagra. It'll make you really happy.
If you want to know, and of course you do, a Viagra empanada doesn't actually contain D pills.
The Viagra is shrimp and crab. It's their biggest selling empanada.
Oh, this is delicious.
Whoever says nothing good happens after 4 a.m. is a goddamn liar. We're in empanada heaven, baby. Around this time of night, or morning, the last calls have been called. The Ubers have been called. Even some booties have been called. But for this baker, the day is just beginning.
I would describe the life of a baker as a little sleepless. To start my day, normally our shift starts around 3:30. Usually I am the first to arrive. And then I'm by myself until around 6 a.m. I always have to kit out my clothes in a little area so that I don't wake my boyfriend up.
Danielle runs the pastry program at Win Sun Bakery, a Taiwanese-centered cafe in Brooklyn. But her pastry chef dreams date back to the tender age of 12. She headed to the Culinary Institute of America to hone her skills, and she's now living her dream, which apparently involves using a blowtorch at 4 a.m.
Right now we are prepping the laminated bolabaut. So you want the butter to be pliable. You should be able to kind of do the roller coaster move with it. When I was in this one city in Taiwan, Josh's mother was we're going to this one bakery called Angel Bake. We opened up this pastry and it was laminated inside. And I was like, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life. I was very fortunate to go to Taiwan with Josh, which was a mind-blowing experience.
Hey, Brianna.
This is Josh, Danielle's friend and the co-owner of Win Sun Bakery. As a Taiwanese kid growing up in the United States, he craved American food, especially lasagna. But as a college student, he found a new appreciation for his food roots.
The menu kind of runs the gamut of fusion to more traditional representations. We are just trying to push Taiwanese cuisine here in New York.
Win Sun is seriously upgrading the Brooklyn breakfast scene with dishes like this bacon, egg, and cheese wrapped in a traditional Taiwanese sesame pancake. And its cousin, the PTEC, a pork trotter, egg, and cheese. They make a giant pork blunt out of braised pork knuckle. Then they slice it up, fry it, and slap it on a bun. Good morning.
Opening the bakery lends itself to operating at these unusual twilight hours. It definitely gives us an opportunity to kind of embrace the city at that time.
As soon as the doors open at 7 a.m., the breakfast crowd starts rolling in.
Hi, how are you?
It's like the supreme drop of breakfast foods. One of the most popular items on the menu is Danielle's take on mochi donuts. Unlike a regular old donut, the mochi dough has a springy, almost bouncy consistency. Kind of like if a cloud and a Twizzler had a baby that looked like a donut. This little lady's coated in toasty black sesame sugar. Look at that.
It's Asian comfort food for us. I mean, they do their twist, but it's basically comfort food for me. And That's always a plus in the morning. He has his opinions too. This is the pork panchuan. It's basically a rice burrito.
It gets hit with some salted radishes, scallions, rosong, aka pork floss, a cruller, and a little sweet soy sauce. Then it's all rolled up and rolled to order.
Smells good. Soft and crunchy. That's a tattoo idea. Soft and crunchy. I should get that tattooed somewhere on me.
When we opened, we kind of thought that the Taiwanese Americans, kids like me, would, be the more receiving ones because of fusion aspect of it. And for the Taiwanese folks to kind of be like, this is not traditional or authentic, but it's quite the opposite. It's the Taiwanese folks that come that are like, that's what we care about, representation.
Moment, as dawn gives way to daylight, we're reminded that there's so much life in the city and so many stories and meals we're sleeping through all the time.
I do have a black belt in karate. Yeah, I studied for 20 years. I have a wig on, but I also have brass knuckles. I've never had to use them. The only time I've ever been approached in the city at night while I'm by myself is like a proposition. I'm like, maybe. Just kidding, that's not true. I've always said yes.